So in this video, we're going to start talking about two-way frequency tables. So the interesting thing is that we've spent this whole unit talking about how to analyze data and how to analyze graphs, but what about ways of which we can collect data and organize it in a way that we can understand with two sets of categories? And so that's where a two-way frequency table comes in. So that is our first vocab word at the top. So it is used to show the frequency of data from a survey classified according to two categories. So hence the two-way frequency, right? So two categories. With rows indicating one category and columns indicating another. So looking at our first example, I'm going to actually go to the next page here because I got more room. It says, organizers at Lincoln High School are planning a new student center. They surveyed freshmen and sophomores about what video games, board games, or table sports that they would want. Students were asked to select only one type of game, and the results are shown below. So we're just going to start with, well, how do we read these tables? So in question A, it says, of the students who chose table sports. So if I'm looking at my table, I'm looking at this row here. That's table sports, that whole row. How many of them are freshmen? So I would then look up here, and this is my freshman row. So 30 of them were freshmen. And then how many chose video games? And this is just how many students in general chose video games. So let me just kind of erase my stuff here. So I would say, okay, here's my video games row. There's a total of 190 students that chose it. Well, how many students altogether are freshmen? And so now I'm going to be looking at this row, and that would be a total of 105. And then question D says, well, how many students were surveyed in total? We would look to the very bottom right, which is 500. And then the last question I find interesting, it says, one teacher suggested that the budget for the student center should be split evenly between the freshmen and the sophomores. And then naturally another teacher disagreed. Well, who has a better argument here? And if we're looking at how many freshmen we have, which is 105, and then we have 395 sophomores, okay? There are almost 4 times the amount of sophomores than there are freshmen. So I would say sophomores definitely pull more weight as to what should be chosen because of how many more sophomores there are versus freshmen. So now that you've seen an example of how to read a two-way frequency table, why don't you guys try the next one on your own? So looking at this two-way frequency table, to answer the following questions, starting with question A, which craft is the most popular overall? And so my crafts are over here, and so I'm going to look at their totals over here. And the most popular seems to be the sand art, with 37 total, tallies, frequencies. Which craft was most popular, but with the sophomores? So I'm going to look at my sophomore numbers here, and the biggest number is 18, and that keychain was the popular craft. See how many freshmen attended the camp. So freshmen here, my total 47, and how many attendees did crafts all together, so my overall total being 88. So then this is kind of my personal favorite part of this unit because I love playing Sudoku. And so completing a two-way frequency table when we're only given a little bit of information is very similar to that. Okay, it's a lot of deductive reasoning. So it says a small town conducted a survey to help decide on which community initiative they should spend annual funding. The town has a total of 2,400 residents, and that has already been put in the table for you. According to the survey, 45% of the respondents are cyclists. So I'm going to underline that, and I'm actually just going to stop right here and start to calculate that. So remember, of mean in math means to multiply, and 45% is of 100. So I'm going to change the 45% to a decimal, and I'm going to multiply that of 2,400. And I'm going to find out how many cyclists there are. That comes out to be 1,000 1,080. And so I'm going to put that in my chart here, 1,080. Whoops. 1,080. Okay, so from this information, I can figure out the non-cyclists by finding the difference between my total and then the total cyclists that there are. And that difference is 1,320. So I cannot go any further with the information that I have right now, so I'm going to keep reading. So then it goes on to say let's see, I lost my spot. So according to the survey, 45% of respondents are cyclists, okay. And of those cyclists, 80% enjoy spending time at the lake. So now I'm going to take 80% again. I'm going to change it to a decimal, so 0.80 or just 0.8. And I'm going to find 80% of 1,080. And that comes out to be, let's see, they spend time at the lake. So that's 864. And so I would put that in my chart here, 864. So now if I know that there's 1,080 cyclists and 864 of them enjoy being at the lake, I can find the difference and figure out that 216 do not enjoy being at the lake. So again, I can't keep going, so I have to go back to my reading. So of the residents who are not cyclists, okay, so that's that number 1,320, 75% of them, so I'm going to find 75% of 1,320, and that happens to be 990. They enjoy spending time at the lake. So I'm going to put 990 under the non-cyclists who enjoy being at the lake. And again, I can find the difference between 990 and 1,320, and that gives me 330. And now I can just go ahead and add up my columns. So those that enjoy being at the lake is a total of 1,854. And those that do not enjoy being at the lake is a total of 546. These totals here at the bottom and the side should all add up to 2,400, and that's how you can go ahead and check your work. So why don't you guys try the next one on your own? Okay, so it states that a bird watching club has counted all the birds of two certain species that they found in a park one afternoon. There are two color variations. There's ones with plain and red wings. They can tell the males from the females. Okay, awesome. They're just kind of rambling on. Okay, now they're telling me some important information. The club found 18 males. Okay, they've put that in there. And a total of 42 birds. Okay, so immediately I stop. I can find the difference between the 18 and 42. And I can find out that there's 24 females. So then it goes on to say, of the females, 75% of them, so 0.75 times 24, have plain wings. And that comes out to be 18. So I put 18 here. So then I can figure out that the rest of them, which is a total of 6, have red. And then it goes on to say that 50% of the males, do I really even have to do any math for that? What's half of 18? Well, that's 9. They have plain, so 9 and 9. And now I can go ahead and add up my total of my red band wings, which is 15, and then my plain wings, which is 27. Just kidding. Hold on. Brain fart. Oh, no, that is 27. Okay.